Welcome to Global Village, and thank you very much for joining us today. We are very honored today. We're airing the program from Red Roof Studio, and we are very honored for both Rita and Colin giving us the opportunity to air the program from their studio. We have here also a co-host of the program today, Shannon. She's our co-host of Global Village. Welcome to the program, Shannon.
Thank you.
And we are very honored to have also both Rita and Colin. Welcome to the program.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Well, Rita, I know a little bit about you, but please do tell everybody a little bit about yourself.
How far back do we go? Where I came from, I was born and raised in Holland, and when I was 23, I followed my husband. He wasn't my husband yet, but we had been in Holland together. We were neighbors as kids, and we came to Canada in 1975, and then we came to Brooks. He had been in Edmonton for 3 months, and I came to Edmonton, and 2 weeks later we went to Brooks, and we've been here ever since. And we had our kids here, a boy, a girl, and another boy. And while I had my kids, and they were about teenagers, I went to university and I did my degree in art. And actually before that already, I've always been an artist. And I was teaching, once we were here on this acreage, I think I started teaching art because I had space and I could invite the kids to use my studio. I had a studio but now it's the bed and breakfast. And so I would teach kids after school art and summer camps I had. And so that has been going on for many, many years. And then eventually when we built this studio, the Straw Bale studio, we could really set up a good classroom and then that was after my university too, where I took artist therapy and then realized how an amazing thing art really is and what it can do for people. It has such healing aspects of it, besides being just wonderful to look at and expressing ourselves of who we are. Art is just everything to me, so I love to share that. I think, yeah, that's my life. My art is and my garden and cooking and entertaining, of course. That's just not even a question. I wouldn't be here without you, Colin. So, yeah, I'm really glad we came to Canada and we had all these opportunities and we could do that here. And we have become Canadian citizens. And I'm very proud to be here and doing what we can do.
Yes, thank you.
Very proud to be a Canadian citizen too.
Isn't that what I said?
No. That's
Canadian
No.
citizen.
Yes.
Yes, very proud.
We never thought we would say that. We always look at the Americans and the patriotic, the flag and et cetera, et cetera. And then now we do actually the same thing, right? Yeah, I'm so proud to be Canadian, but we mean it.
Yeah.
That's true. No, thank you very much. I think, yeah, Colin, okay, you want to tell us a little bit about...
Okay, I
your
was
background?
born in 1948 in Indonesia from an Indonesian mother and an English father. And I think I stayed 2 years there. And then we went to Holland. And I got my education there. And I grew up in The Hague, the city of diplomats and the beautiful Dutch language.
There you go.
Remember? We speak good Dutch, okay? And the rest of Holland doesn't.
Everybody has an accent.
Yeah. Anyways,
One
and
way or another.
so I went to school and did dairy technology, and I just came. I was in the army for 3.5 years. Went to South America for 1.5 years. Lived in Scotland, did some work there for school, et cetera, et cetera.
So what army? The Canadian Army?
Dutch Army.
Dutch Army?
Yeah, we were drafted. Yeah, and I stayed in a little bit longer because I had so much fun.
Wow.
Kind of. Yeah.
So Indonesia also, they were part of the Dutch colony.
In Indonesia was a Dutch colony,
Okay.
and I think in 49 they became independent. I'm not really sure. It might be 50 too, but Sukarno took over.
Yeah.
And remember, and yeah, and they kicked the Dutch out, and that was one of the reasons we went back to Europe. So.
Well, I guess smart people come from Indonesia. You have Barack Obama, you have Colin.
That's right.
You
Only the
know,
good ones come from Indonesia.
There you go. There you go. You know, that's. So when do you guys open the studio then?
Okay,
This is
shall I
studio.
do? Shall I say
Yeah,
something?
yeah,
say
you have the
something.
day. He
Well,
always has the numbers right. I had an art studio all along while we were here.
Okay, yeah. I
But this
retired,
building,
I retired in 2002, and we kind of decided that I would go into photography, and then Rita would start teaching art and producing art, and we needed a background. I think that's how it started, right? And then our son Mark said, well, you know, you can just build a straw bale wall, make windows in it and doors, and then you have yourself a background, right? And so we started thinking about that. And then at a certain point we said, oh, what the hell, why don't we just build this damn thing, right? And
And that got bigger and bigger.
Yeah.
From a wall, it became, well, I need 14 feet
16.
for a backdrop.
Yeah.
And then I need, then I thought, then if you have that, then I want a studio. And then we need a gallery because I want to show local artists in this place. And then I can have my classes in there. And if we have classes, then we need a bathroom. We need a kitchen to clean our hands and make some soup or have some coffee or tea. And then we need an office for you because he's the photographer, so he needs his computer and his printer and his other equipment for photography,
I go way out of
digital.
hand.
And then we needed a bathroom, a public bathroom, and then we have a storage space because all the art supplies need to go in there, and a furnace room. And then my son said, well, why don't we put a little residence in the back? And then that could be a grandpa's place, is what he said initially. But he said, but really, I can stay there then, and then I develop the back, and we'll build more straw bale homes on this property. And I thought, sure, but just a little residence. So that ended up being a living room, kitchen, bathroom. Upstairs is a bedroom and a bathroom. So it's nice for a couple. It's lovely. So then we moved in here and then our home, because we were always I couldn't get out of the studio. We were here the whole day. And he was in his office the whole day. And then when it got dark, we would go to the bed and breakfast and sleep. And then next morning, we're back here. And finally, we said, you know what, we should just use that as a bed and breakfast. We can't part with that home. We've built that all together with the kids, that kind of from the beginning and up. And so now that's our bed and breakfast. And Colin runs that, and I run the studio. And I get to do my art, and he does photography and the bed and breakfast. And we're happier than ever doing what you're passionate about. Now I advise that to everyone. Do what you love to do, make that your career, and you'll never feel a day you're working. It's honestly, it's the best life we have right now. I love it.
That's so wonderful to hear.
That's it. That's my best advice for everyone.
That's good advice.
And your passion has spilled out into the community as well. How have you
Yes.
involved the communities and?
I have always, well, for me, it has always been really important to teach this passion to kids. The younger, the better. The earlier you reach them, and I find that really curious to see how young they can really be, too. So one of them was one of my friends, a physician in town. He had 2 daughters, and the third one was on the way. Now, the 2 daughters I was teaching already. Third one was on the way. So every time after the baby was born, she would bring the third one and her little bassinet, set it on the table, and we do art. As soon as she could sit on my lap, I was very curious, how soon can you start with a child creating art? And so as soon as she could hold on to a pencil, I would say, I'd sit with her on my lap, because I was teaching the other girls, and then we'd sit there just holding the baby, and she would again hold the pencil and would say, dot, 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 and she would go dot, 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 dot. And then we'd go zigzag, zigzag, zigzag. And so that was when she was about past 1, I think.
Yep.
She was past 1. Honestly, she got the control of zigzag, circles, 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 zigzags, dot, dot, dot. Oh, and a line, and a line. And then I'd say, stop. And then she had a line. To see her watch what she could create, the difference between a circle or a zigzag. And I think that's how it started. And then eventually we could make just a circle, and then what can we make out of a circle? Well, a cat with 2 triangles. So slowly, that's really when you can start. It's a feeling of control. So she had a pencil. She could express herself at that young age. It was very fascinating to see, because I always wondered, when does that start to make sense? And what is art really, or what does it do for a child? So my passion has always been teaching kids, but then eventually I started teaching adults as well, and all of us have that need to feel self-confident. It doesn't matter what age that is. That starts at, or that is at every age. So I have retired women that do sculpting workshops, and when they're finished, there is such self-confidence and pride and feeling good about what you can do. It's a lovely thing to teach, to give someone something back. So now I go to the schools, do projects in the schools with the school kids, sometimes on a theme that the kids might have. Right now there's a lot of, like, oil and gas is down, and so there's a lot of stress in families' homes, and so you can relate make it a theme project for the class. Things about hope, things about bullying, things about classes I've done about self-image, body image. So there's lots of themes you can touch on and discuss them with the kids, and then have them come back and give a head of an opinion. And that to me is really important. Give a chance to listen to a child's opinion. They never get a chance to be heard. So when they make a picture of it, they are heard and seen, so which is very important to me. Yeah, so I love what I do.
That's wonderful.
Very important. Yeah,
That's a good advice for the viewers, that follow your passion.
absolutely. Yeah.
Okay.
And very few of us are allowed to do that.
There
That
you
is
go.
a luxury, I thought. I
Yeah.
always assumed
Yeah.
teaching art and being an artist was a luxury. That was just something I did late at night when everybody was in bed. Didn't share it so much with my own kids at first, because I thought, my family comes first. This is my thing. Now I realize the impact it has on your life, and now I think, no, the sooner you the better. The sooner you can teach anyone to express themselves, it's only healthy. So now I want to go to the schools, conventions if I can, and make sure they understand it's not about making pretty pictures. It's about expressing yourself and having a thought and an emotion, and use your intellect to create something with. So you use your brain in a whole different way than you would with any other exercise. So it's very important to use your brain fully. And so that I understand that now I want to make sure they understand that as a teacher too, to teach that to the kids and infuse the arts into the curriculum and never cut it out, because those classes are often cut and said, well, there's no money, let's cut art and music. These should be mandatory, those classes. They're very important in a school. Kids need to put out. They take in, and there's never a chance for them to put it out. So that's what art can do, in a nutshell.
No.
That was a big nutshell.
Yeah.
Well,
That's okay.
Well said, Mr. New Canadian.
Yes. Mr. Old New Canadian.
All New Canadian. There you go. So, apart from the photographic business, how that came up then after you?
Well, I was in research, and so I used photography quite a lot to take pictures of plants, and I have access to a dark room at the research center, and cameras and film, and so that was a little bit easier, right? Because you don't make a lot of money working for the government, so So then that's how it started, basically. And my dad, my Dutch stepdad, basically was is it Avid or Avid? Avid photographer. And I probably got it from him a little bit too, just how to take pictures, and so that's where it started, basically.
So that then you also follow your passion of photograph.
I did. Yeah, we both did actually. She's a little bit better at it, but
He's an amazing photographer. He has a really, really good eye, always had. And the kids do, and I thought everybody had that. Everybody has that.
Yeah.
But I think not everybody has that. We've had friends come, oh, I can help you for the wedding, and then they cut the legs off. Or they have half the ceiling in there and the walls, and I think, how could they take that picture? I thought everybody can see that is wrong.
Yeah.
But no, that's not so natural. But all my kids, they're very different photographers, but they're all really good photographers, and I think that's, he has a really, and then besides that, he's very good technically with the equipment.
thank you.
And I love doing Photoshop. My lights are just
She's a good
distorted. And,
Photoshop.
yeah,
She's a good
yeah,
Photoshopper.
yeah. That's really fun to do.
You guys complement each other.
Yeah.
very
Yeah,
well.
I
That is
sometimes
awesome.
steal a picture and go, can I play with that one? They do awesome things with that.
So you do your photographing here also?
Yeah, everything is in-house basically. So we take digital photography, of course, and we have the printers, the laminators, and cutters, and
Computer.
and a computer with a big Photoshop program on it. So, yeah, we can do everything. We can print up to 17-inch art photography. So, yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. But lately, I'm getting a little bit tired of photography, so I'm kind of cutting back a little bit. I just want to sit down and drink beer.
There you go. That's a good passion also.
That's a good passion.
No, not really. But
Oh,
I'm
he
just-
still runs outside when he sees an amazing sky outside.
Yeah.
Did you see that sunset? And there he is. And then we have the pond, and you have two sunsets, one this way, one that way. It's amazing. No, you can't. That is
Yeah, I'll
always
take
there,
my
that
camera
camera.
everywhere,
Yeah,
and
yeah.
I always take it in the car. Of course, when I take the camera, there's nothing to photograph. And then when I forget it, then there's lots of stuff, right? Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Anyways, so photography is a real nice hobby. And I was trying to change from people's photography, like weddings and engagements and graduation, to nature photography, landscape, and do art prints. I just love printing. It's a real big challenge. So
That brings me to my question, which is you were there and you watched that documentary, National Film Board documentary, Sherbrooke to
yeah,
Brooks.
I did.
So having that experience of photographing, how do you see in terms of the way they did the
They
documentary?
did the photography.
Not
yeah.
the story,
No?
the photography
Yeah.
and the documentary.
I liked it. It was a little bit slow at some points, but you know, like it's a hard subject to film, right? So you got a bunch of people moving from Sherbrooke to Brooks, and what do you film? Like them sitting in the bus or
Yeah,
whatever.
yeah.
So I think they did really well, you know. But documentary photography is filming is one of the most difficult parts of filming. So
Oh,
yeah, to make a story, and that should be true too, right?
yeah, yeah, yeah.
Talking film, again, this is what Colin did a few years ago, and we did it for 8 years, I believe. He brought Toronto Film Festival to Brooks. So to bring culture to our community. I should have added that earlier. Seriously, it's really lovely to get movies that are never big box office movies. We get the big box office movies in our theater in Brooks because that's, you know, everybody wants to see those. But there are so many amazing movies made that nobody ever gets to see unless you go and find them. So Toronto Film Festival had put out all these movies available to all communities all over Canada, and was looking for volunteers to set it up so we could bring those movies to the theater and then organize, that was all volunteer work, and then organize little groups to then do all the work to show these movies.
We rented the Oasis Theater, the whole theater. Only we were allowed to go in for $225 a night. And then about 3 years into the program, Landmark thought, oh, this is really successful.
No, it was more than that,
Yeah?
than 3 years. Yeah,
5,
we did it
6
for
years,
did it for quite a while.
They said, let's raise the price and let's double it. And so we couldn't afford it anymore. So that was
That was
kind
a
of
real
pity,
shame. But
yeah.
we had a nice little group of people that were movie buffs, and just for these movies, we went to the theater, and they were like
There was
fantastic
well,
movies, just really good movies.
The Toronto the International Film Festival has about 350 films, and they are one of the biggest in the world, the Toronto Film Festival. And so we had a choice. Every year we could pick out those films, and we could
Show
bring
them
them to the town, or most of them not even the city, because the cities get those movies, right?
Yeah,
So,
yeah.
and we would show them here. It was a lot of work.
Ah,
Now it's all
Yeah.
digital, but in those days,
Heavy
like
cases,
heavy
you had to,
cases
haul
of 4 or 5 of those things, they were £100 each, and
Or they shipped
sometimes.
the wrong one, and you had to go
Yeah.
drive and meet somebody on the highway to exchange
Yeah.
Anyways,
movie cases.
it was
yeah.
a great success, and
Yeah.
it's a pity that it kind
Yeah.
of.
And then
didn't
once a
work
year, we'd have a little festival too, and we could bring in directors and discuss it with the audience. They had questions. It was lovely. It was wonderful. And the people were so grateful that we had this too. And that is bringing culture to your
Really?
community, things
Yeah.
that we never had before, and
Yeah.
that is out there, and
Yeah.
it's pure art.
Yeah.
Seeing not those big box office movies, because there's all kind of a recipe for that. But these alternative movies, they were foreign movies, they were really good content movies. And then to bring that to Brooks was really, so eventually he did it by himself. He at first had a whole group that would pick the movies, but it ended up, at the end, he just did it. He said, I can do it all by myself. We don't need meetings, we can do it all.
Pick up the
So
movies,
yeah, he
bring
did all the
out,
work.
brought them back, and
And then we got priced out, and then it stopped. And then we thought, can we do it here? Because then we had the studio, and we thought, we can do anything in this space. We had a book reading, so people that would, what was it, not Carl Anderson,
Tom Livingston. Tom Livingston
is that his name?
from Jenner. there's
Yeah,
some-
so he wrote a book, and he was here, and then we had musicians that came and performed while we had the book signing, and he was here still. He's an elderly gentleman,
Yeah,
so
he had a stroke.
Yeah.
You never heard of Tom Livingston?
I have.
Yeah.
yeah,
okay.
so
And
that was really
that
wonderful
was
to
quite
have a
something.
local, you know,
Yeah. And
hero.
they pulled a trick on Monty Solberg, who was a federal minister at the time. And they gave him
The
a
passage
reading,
to
the
read, yeah.
passage to read, where Tom's dog died. And so Monty was going through it, and after a little while, he just started to bawl. Yeah, that was so. Yeah.
And then now we bring, we have in the winter, once a month we'll bring a concert in here because the acoustics are wonderful in this room. And then we turn the studio into a coffee room, and then we turn that into a bar, and I'll bring some food out. And then we have candlelight and a band on the stage there, and it's awesome. So we bring alternative music, so there's always country and western music around, but no jazz or folk
Classic.
or classic. We've done a lot of different concerts here. Just a few weeks ago, beautiful blues band. We all ended up dancing in here because it was so amazing. Nobody could sit anymore. He said, I'll do extra if you guys all get off your chair and dance, and I'll play a few more songs. So it ended up just an amazing evening. So another thing that, you know, I like to enjoy music rather than go to the
Yeah.
Settle Dome in a big concert hall. This is so up close with the artists, and they talk much more comfortable. They love it because nobody's supposed to talk, so everybody should be quiet when you're listening. So you hear their lyrics. That is their art form. They write these songs for a reason. You want to listen to their lyrics. And so that's what happens in a room like this, and then you can discuss it after, so the artist is there and very easily approachable. And they love coming here. They love having an audience rather than in a bar or in a huge concert hall. There is no contact with the audience, so this is quite unique and special. Then you can have a drink and a little bite to eat. How awesome is that?
Some of them has
That's-
a little bit too much drink.
That happens sometimes,
many.
but no, it's that makes it. And every time we sit here and it happens, I kind of go, check mark, another one of this straw.
bucket list
Honestly,
is getting
yeah,
smaller and
it's
smaller.
really awesome. Well, that happens in the middle of nowhere. We are on an acreage, and this place is getting this wonderful culture coming right here, and we can enjoy it. And we never had any of this when my kids were growing up. There was no culture for them to.
Yeah.
Well, there's hockey, that's considered culture, but in my mind, it is food, music, visual arts, sculpting, entertainment. Yeah, that's.
But okay, no, that's good. Well, both of you been also from Holland. What do you think the advantage of a diverse community such as the one we have, Brooks or Count of Newell, in the 21st century economic growth for each community? What do you think the advantage is?
The advantages? I think the
think-
whole world is going to turn into a multicultural. I mean, every country, travel is made so easy now, and there is, whenever there's a disorder in some country, they need to go to a place where there's peace. So I think it seems like right now every country is taking in refugees or other cultures,
Yeah.
or the whole world is becoming a mix of, and I think we can only enrich ourselves from other cultures. I mean, pick all the beautiful things from another culture.
For a lot of people, that's a big problem, though.
Very
You
well.
know
The
what? There
Trumps,
is,
you know,
yeah, you have the
Trumps and
hateful
the
people.
Farage from England, and
You can look for the negative things and make that a point of interest, or you can look for the positive things and make that a point of interest. It's your choice what
this
you
is
want to do with it.
incredible what happens in Brooks.
This
for instance.
town,
When we
I think
came
it's amazing.
In '74, I think I was the only dark person, and I'm not even that dark, right?
no.
It's kind of chocolatey.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Little
Yeah,
chocolatey.
yeah,
Mocha.
probably, yeah,
Yeah,
Mocha.
yeah.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
so you know, you can count the
Yeah.
churches in this town. It was very conservative, or social credit at the time.
Yeah.
And now, you know, look at what it is now. Really, it's
And then look at the excess of food we have. Different cultures have different meals. They cook different. They teach us different things. Their music. I still wished we can create that more to share their music, their dance, their art, their whatever it is they have. It'll only enrich us. If you look at the positive things, what a wonderful thing. And Canada is, well, I've said that to you before.
It's built
I
by-
think Canada is the most wonderful country in the entire world because we do accept
Yeah.
all the differences
Yeah.
as, you know, you're welcome here. If you know, comply to the law, you're welcome. So all of us are welcome and can make a peaceful, harmonious life. Now, it doesn't always happen. You always have people that need to, oh, you're different from me, so therefore you're no good. That happens, but I mean, you have to overcome that, and it will be overcome. I think we're just all proving that, aren't we?
Look for the beauty.
That's right. You just have to look for the positives.
I think since both of you speak Dutch or
Yes.
the Netherlands, we're coming to the end of the program. I think it would be nice in your own native language, Dutch, if you say welcome to Global Village,
Oh, welcome.
to the program.
It is almost the same.
Het
Ja.
globale
Global-
dorp. No,
No.
het globale dorp.
Yeah,
It
the
would be in
globale
Dutch.
dorp, yeah.
Welcome to het
welcome to
Global
in-
Village Show. Welcome
Ja,
to Global
in
Village Show.
in het globale
Dorp.
dorp.
Ja.
Welkom tot ons. Tot ons.
globale
See, the
dorp.
Dutch is so hard for me.
It's hard to
I
say.
go
Yeah.
I go back
But
to
you get it
Holland.
together, just
Yeah.
like everything.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
like a 2x4. We don't have those in Holland ever. And so I would try to explain what's a 2x4 or a mountain bike. A mountain. I said a bergfiets, and they would go, "It's a mountain bike."
There you
It
go.
was the same word.
So you want to say one
World,
more time
yeah.
then?
Welkom tot ons werelddorp
Yeah,
show.
there you go.
Okay.
Daar
now-
ga je.
There you go. There you go. So I think they will be able to edit, and that's going to be part of that Welcome to Global Village
Oh,
with
absolutely.
different language.
Yeah.
Thank you very much for both of you. I think you're doing great job, especially artists, for both
Yeah.
of you. And we are
Thank
very honored to have the program here airing. And it's great, and we hope to do next time also sometime in the future. And you're giving something
you're
back to the
welcome. Yeah.
you're giving something back to the community. And he's also the president of the New World Regional Tourism Association.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
something that you guys giving back to the
Another
community.
positive thing.
Another positive
another
thing. There
positive
you go.
Yeah.
No, thank you very much for both of you, Colin.
Yeah, no problem at all.
Thank you very much.
Yeah.
Thanks, Shannon.
Thank
you.
you very much. Thank you, Rita.
Thanks.
Yeah, thank you very much. This is the end of the program, Global Village, and I will leave Shannon to. She's our co-host of the Global Village today, also to say her piece today.
Thank you very much for viewing this show. We wish you all the best. Enjoy your day.